What's up, my red brothers and sisters? I hope you're all still celebrating after last night, because I tell you what, I know my eyes aren't bloodshot, but they feel like it. I've had absolutely no sleep. I've been seeing Alisson Becker's header over and over. I've been watching it from every angle. I'm sure you have as well. Wow. What a moment that was last night. Just when we thought as football fans we may have seen everything, our big beautiful Brazilian Adonis steps up and says, "Hold my beer, lads. Yous can't score. I've got this covered." I'm still in shock. I really am. What a night that was last night. I mean, there are some people who are saying Liverpool fans celebrating they beat West Brom. It's bigger than that. Surely you all understand it's bigger than that. Not only was it the first time in our club's 129-year history, I think it's 129 years anyway, maths isn't my strong point when I'm tired, but yeah, look, it's the first time our goalkeeper, any goalkeeper for Liverpool, has scored a goal while playing as a goalkeeper, so it was just brilliant, wasn't it? I mean, so happy for him, so happy for the coaching staff, the players, most importantly happy for all of us fans, because it means it's still in our own hands. It means it's still down to the Reds what happens with our season. And massive game coming up at Turf Moor on Wednesday against Burnley. First game with fans back inside the stadium as well, which is good. Well, first game will be taking part in with fans back inside the stadium, which is great to see. Good to see some fans in there for the playoffs as well. I was watching the first game earlier on between Bournemouth and Brentford, so yeah, it's all good, ladies and gentlemen. But look, you're here for one reason and one reason only. You want to know about Mohamed Salah, you want to know about Harry Kane, and you want to know what's going on. And I'm going to do my best to go through it all bit by bit. As always, there's a really lot of stuff to go through in tonight's stream, so we will wait for the Mohamed Salah stuff for a few minutes, because we know we'll have some people coming in and they'll be asking us to go back over it loads of times, so we'll hang off on that one. But let's start out with Naby Keita, because today a couple of stories have been doing the rounds that suggest Leicester City, Crystal Palace and Atletico Madrid are all interested in signing Naby Keita from Liverpool. Now, I have no idea, hand on heart, what the manager's plans are for Naby. I've got no idea what the thought process is inside the club with regards to Naby Keita. We heard the manager come out and speak about Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain recently, which seemed to suggest that he thinks Chamberlain still has a future at the club. We'll wait and see how the transfer window works out, but it is intriguing to hear the clubs that are being interested. Like Leicester, it can make some sense of that. There's no way I can see Naby Keita moving to Crystal Palace. And Atletico, again, I can see some sense in that one. There was no transfer fee mentioned from the articles that I've read anyway, and I have no idea how much Liverpool would look to recoup from the, I think it was 56 million, if my memory's right, that we paid Leipzig from with that deal that Michael Edwards did, that was based on a couple of different aspects with regards to how much we'll actually end up forking over. But I think it is fair to say that so far, and it is just so far, it has been one massive question mark beside Naby Keita's name, because we've seen flashes of what he's capable of, but his body just doesn't seem to be capable of dealing with the rigours of maybe Jurgen Klopp's training, or maybe it's Premier League football, or maybe it's a little bit of both. I don't know. I know the club have worked really hard trying to work on Naby's core fitness and stuff, trying to strengthen him up to make sure that the worst of these injuries are behind him, but yet again, we see before the season's out, he couldn't even finish the last couple of months. He's picked up another injury, and no player ever wants to be injured. But at the same time, we need a squad that's robust. We need a squad that's going to be able to challenge on numerous fronts. So let me know what you guys think around this one. Would you like to see Naby moved on? How much could we realistically expect if he was? Or would you like him to stay and prove his point? How are you today? Said Donald. Thank you for the super chat, mate. And is Sancho still on the table? I'm okay. Firstly, thank you for asking. The second part, look, it looks like Sancho's primed to move from Dortmund this summer. Manchester United feel like they're in the box seat, they're in pole position to try and sign him. They feel like a lot of the groundwork has been done. But as many European-based journalists have been saying, it is a conversation that Liverpool will want to be part of. We know that Jurgen Klopp is an admirer of Jadon Sancho. Most managers around Europe are probably an admirer of Sancho. But I suppose it'll all come down to possible Champions League qualification and how much money is in the transfer kitty for Jurgen Klopp, as well as the part we don't like to talk about, which is money from sales. Because there are going to be players who are moved on. I mean, today, for instance, Divock Origi was left out of the Belgium squad. So I'm sure that's going to be stinging him when he sees the likes of Christian Benteke who's going away with the Belgium squad to the Euro. So is this going to be the wake-up call for Divock Origi to maybe tap Klopp on the shoulder and say, Gaffer, really enjoyed my time here, but I feel like maybe it's time to move on? Well, that remains to be seen, because you have to find a buyer as well. And I keep saying to people, these Liverpool players, most of them are on fairly good contracts because they've earned them. They've They've earned them through their time here, the success the club have had, and they've been incentivised contracts that, you know, if certain things are triggered, your wages go up, and we have the second highest wage bill in the Premier League, which sounds nuts, I know, because we don't have any players on 300 or 400 grand a week, but the whole squad seems to be on a fairly good wage. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens on that front as well. The likes of Shaqiri as well has been linked with moves away to Spain and Italy. Gini Wijnaldum we know is leaving at the end of the season. Another article out today suggested Inter Milan could be back in the cards for him. Bayern Munich ultra interested, as we know Barcelona. Mitchell, thank you for the super chat. Dude said, I'd love to sign Kane. Trent and Robbo have a target to whip those balls into. I really can't see it, but I'd love it. Sorry for jumping ahead. No problem, dude. No problem talking about whatever you guys want to. It's your show. Yeah, look, Harry Kane today, for those that aren't aware, breaking story over the last couple of hours, Harry Kane apparently has told Daniel Levy and Spurs that he wants to leave the club at the end of the season. Now, Daniel Levy as the Spurs chairman is in a pretty good position on this one, although a lot of the power does always lie with the players, and ultimately they can usually force their way out if there's a willing buyer at the table. So I would suggest that Harry Kane and his representatives wouldn't be naive enough to go to the Spurs chairman and say that he wants to leave without knowing that there are some serious interested parties. Now, you know, the smart money would be on the likes of PSG, Chelsea and probably Manchester City. You would imagine Haaland and Kane, two of those will probably end up at those clubs somewhere in some order. I don't know who and I don't know when. But I can't see a situation where Kane tells Daniel Levy that he wants to leave without knowing that there are people waiting in the wings who are going to be willing to test Spurs' resolve. But he does have 3 years left on his contract as well, because he did sign a 6-year deal with Spurs a while back. So I'm a little bit surprised that he's put this out there before he plays in front of the Spurs fans, which to me just seems pretty strange, because Spurs still have a lot to play for. They still have European football to try and get. Kane obviously in a race with Mohamed Salah for the Golden Boot. It just seems a little bit weird that he says this before they go and play in front of the Spurs fans this week. I don't know, I'm a bit shocked by it, but not shocked by the fact he's leaving or wants to leave, because that's been a kind of open secret over the past few weeks. But I don't see Liverpool being in that conversation. Look, none of us can sit here, whatever we think about Kane, you know, we all have split opinions on him. One thing I think we can all agree on is the lad knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. The lad knows where the goal is. You know, I don't think we'll be in the conversation. I can see maybe United being in that conversation. I've often said to you before, if I've always thought of Harry Kane as somebody that could well end up at Manchester United, but I hope he moves outside the Premier League if he moves, because let's be honest about it, the thoughts of him rocking up as a number 9 for Chelsea or number 9 for Manchester City, and by number 9 of course I mean centre forward, it's a bit of a scary prospect, isn't it? I mean, City are already good enough, Chelsea are already improving dramatically without adding the likes of Harry Kane to that list. So it's going to be an interesting summer, and I get the feeling, and I don't know if you guys do as well, that, you know, this might be the first of many transfers. Often these things have a bit of a domino effect, so when the first big name comes out, the moves start to go, one triggers another and another and another. And that kind of leads us around full circle to the Mohamed Salah situation, because a lot of people will see the stream title tonight and wonder what the hell is going on again. I've told you guys for many weeks that Paris Saint-Germain have had Mohamed Salah pretty high up on their shopping list, but only if Kylian Mbappe moves on. Now, I told you guys there was a ridiculous article from ESPN a while back suggesting that Liverpool have set a price of €80 million for Salah, which I can only imagine is nonsense of the highest order, because that wouldn't even buy Mohamed Salah's right foot, let alone his left foot and the rest of his brilliant body. But yeah, look, it's a tricky situation, because you've got to look at it from two sides. From a business perspective, he's got 2 years left on his contract. I'm sure that Liverpool, at least I hope, that Liverpool will want to renew that contract and keep him at the club for the next 5 years. But at the same time, if the vibes they're getting from Salah, or the vibes that Salah's getting from Liverpool, don't get resolved fairly quickly, and an offer doesn't get put on the table, because we can only read what's been put in front of us, and what we've been told is that so far there's been no new offer put to Mohamed Salah. So that's what I think has a lot of us worried, because none of us want Salah to leave. I think we're all agreed on that one. The man scores a ridiculous amount of goals for this football club. We've seen a bit of a release of emotion from him over the last week, which has been lovely to see because, you know, he's usually a pretty cool dude. He's usually pretty reserved and calm and focused. But you see him with the goal against Manchester United. You see him with the celebrations yesterday as well with Alisson after he scored. It means a lot to Mohamed Salah, and he wants to be fighting at the top level and he wants to be winning trophies as any player of his calibre would. But I feel, and I'm sure you guys do as well, that he can meet all of those requirements or all of those wants at Liverpool Football Club, and that we should be looking to build around Mohamed Salah. Now, I'm not advocating that we move anybody on because that's not my decision to make. But if you are going to move on one of the front three, it baffles me that you'd look to move on Mo. It really does. Now, I'm not sure if the club are or aren't, but I'll read out the article. There's an article from L'Equipe that's come via the Mirror, and I'll read out what it says in the article, and you guys can make up your mind for yourself what you think of it. Before I do, Jack said we should put Mane in goal and bring Alisson up to Mane's position. Thank you for the super chat, mate. Ali can play anywhere. He's that good. Right. This is what we have. So it says, while talks are only at a preliminary stage at the moment, there's every chance they'll look to launch a bid depending on what happens in the final few weeks of the season. PSG are sweating on the future of Kylian Mbappe, who will be out of contract in just over a year's time. The French World Cup winner has been locked in negotiations over an extension to his contract, but is yet to put pen to paper. And with the likes of Real Madrid and Liverpool circling, it isn't out of the question that Mbappe will decide to try out a new league after spending the first part of his career in Ligue 1. As a result, the uncertainty over Mbappe's future, PSG officials are starting to draw up contingency plans with Salah reportedly a potential option. PSG are one of the few teams in the world with the financial firepower required to test Liverpool's resolve, with the Reds unlikely to let him go on the cheap. Salah's contract will expire in 2023, and he admitted earlier this month that he's yet to be approached about an extension. And here's the thing, that's what makes it all the more worrying for me. He's got 2 years left. You're not going to want him to run down his contract past the summer. You're not going to want him to go into 18 months to go. Then the power shifts to where Liverpool can command a really high fee, to Liverpool getting maybe 80 to 100 million for him when he's probably worth closer to 150, in my humble opinion. I hope it gets resolved. I don't want him to leave. I know you guys don't want him to leave. But what frightens me is the whole PSG situation, because I don't know if that's a sporting project that Mohamed Salah would be interested in. I can't answer that question, only Mo can. But we know that they have the pockets, we know that they have the cash reserves, and we know that they have owners who aren't shy about spending ridiculous amounts of sums and paying out very high wages. So it remains to be seen. Maybe he fancies going over there playing in the French league with Neymar and Verratti. I don't know. I hope he doesn't. I hope he wants to stay at Liverpool. And I hope that we're talking in a few weeks' time that Liverpool are sitting down with himself, sitting down with Fabinho, sitting down with Virgil van Dijk, and issuing them all new contracts, because they all deserve them without a shadow of a doubt. But it is still worrying, and while there is that uncertainty, while there is that lack of communication between Liverpool and the player, at least publicly, at least that we know about, you are going to see these stories continue to circle, and Mohamed Salah is going to continue to be linked away. For a couple of reasons. One, it's a destabilising tactic, and two, you never know where it's coming from. Is it coming from his agents trying to get Liverpool to start the process? Is it coming from Liverpool's side trying to maybe think, and I hope this isn't the case, that maybe it's the right time now to cash in on Mohamed Salah? Because a couple of important things to remember here. With the likes of Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane and Naby Keita. So you've got Mohamed Salah potentially going to the Olympics in the summer. Then you've got the World Cup coming up in Qatar in 2022. Then you've got, or is that being moved? The World Cup's coming up anyway. That's going to be a mid-season break. Then you've got the AFCON coming up next January as well, which he'll be away for a month, as will Mane. So we have to have replacements, and we have to have players who can get us through that period. So if you add all that stuff together, you can see why some of us are nervous, and you can see why a lot of Liverpool fans are wondering what the hell is going on here with Mohamed Salah, and why aren't we hearing the club putting this stuff to bed straight away and coming out and saying, like PSG are doing with Mbappe, we've every intention to try and get him to sign on. The quietness is what worries us, particularly in a time when we already have questions about our owners. We don't know what way the transfer window is going to be with regards to funds. We don't know what competition we'll be in, if we are going to be in the Champions League or the Europa League. And there's a lot of big players available this summer. Haaland could be available, Mbappe could be available, Sancho could be available, Kane could be available. The list probably goes on and on and on. So yeah, it's worrying. So what do you guys think? What's your gut feeling on this one? Do you think that the club will resolve it? Or do you think that maybe Mo fancies a little move abroad? I don't know. It remains to be seen. I mean, I can't... from a sporting project, I can't see the appeal of PSG. I just can't. I mean, it's a pretty uncompetitive league, albeit they've still found a way at the moment to not be winning the French league. One game to go, they're behind Lille, who just need to, I think, win their last game, or at least maybe avoid defeat in their last game. They'll be crowned league champions. So yeah, I don't know. It just seems an unnecessary headache at this moment in time for the club and for us and for him probably as well. If Salah goes, FSG will get the backlash, and I think you were probably spot on there, Shane. I don't want to start naming players to go because this never sounds good, but if one of the front three, and I say three because Jota's obviously going nowhere, he's only in at the club, you would imagine Mane or Firmino would be more palatable to fans. I'm not suggesting that we sell them, but I'm just saying they're probably more palatable than moving on Mohamed Salah, who has been the one shining light this season from a goal scoring perspective. No way we're letting him go. He's still in his prime, and Warren, I hope that's absolutely spot on, mate. I hope Mohamed Salah stays at Liverpool Football Club. And by the way, don't go anywhere, folks. I'll be getting on to the Trent Alexander-Arnold stuff in a couple of minutes, so if you're coming in for that one, don't worry. I'm not forgetting to speak about Trent. I'd love Liverpool to go for Son, said Sean Burke. Yeah, look, if Kane leaves Spurs, and it looks like he wants to, there'd be mutiny if they let Son go as well. I mean, yeah, that would be nuts. When's the Burnley preview coming out? I just recorded it earlier on today, buddy, so that'll be coming out tomorrow. I think Connor's going to put it out about 7 o'clock. I'll be on Mundo Sporto tomorrow for a watch along of the Chelsea-Leicester game. Anyone wants to join me on there, I'll be ready to go about 15 minutes before the game kicks off. Why does it say in your topic that Kane wants to leave? Because that's the big breaking news today, mate. Kane has apparently told Spurs, it's been all over Sky Sports News, all over Twitter, all over social media, that he wants to leave in the summer. There had always been rumours that if they didn't get Champions League football this season, that he was going to ask to leave. Whether Daniel Levy grants that wish or not, I don't know. But as I said at the start of the stream, Harry Kane's been around long enough and he's well represented. I can't see a point where, unless he knows there's concrete interest in him, he's not going to put that out there, because you know what happens if nobody comes in for him? Then he's left at Spurs, tell them they want to leave with a fan base that has it in for him a bit. It wouldn't make sense unless he knew or his agent knew that there were concrete offers coming to the table for him. So, yeah, it's a bit of a mad one. Did somebody say Shawaddy Waddy? That is a blast from the past, Robert. I used to have a Shawaddy Waddy LP that my dad had from years ago. My dad listened to Shawaddy Waddy. I know, the shame of it all, ladies and gents. Do you reckon we could get Kane, said Liam? I don't, mate, no. One, I think there's better value to be had than Harry Kane in the market. I'm not saying that there are better forwards to be had, because Harry Kane's an out-and-out goal-scoring machine. Yes, he does pick up some injuries throughout the season, but he's always there or thereabouts for the Golden Boot, isn't he? And he is a quality. This season in particular, I've been very, very impressed with Kane. Not just for his goal-scoring, but the extra dimension he's added to his game and the link-up play with Son and the amount of goals he's setting up for others around him and how he drops deep at times to link up the play. You can see he's evolving as a footballer, and I've no doubt that if he is going to move on, I have a feeling he'll stay in the Premier League. I have a feeling that it will be either Manchester United, Manchester City or Chelsea, but, you know, we're going to have to wait and see, aren't we? Kane doesn't suit our style of play. Look, I kind of agree with you, but can you imagine, as somebody said in the chat earlier on, Robbo and Trent in wide areas feeding balls across the 6-yard box to Kane, even from those deep line crossing positions? I mean, anybody would make room for him. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you tweak your style to fit him in if you could. Liverpool should sign Canade. We will. That'll be done. Don't worry about that. I've said that to you for a few weeks now. Everything is in place for Canade. The clubs are trying to sort out what way that release clause will be paid, if it'll be all up front, if it'll be in instalments. Obviously, Leipzig will want it in one go. Liverpool will be trying to manoeuvre their way to paying some of it up front and the rest of it over the course of the contract. But a package has been agreed with the player. 5-year contract has been agreed with the player. Liverpool know what the release clause is, and barring any major catastrophes, Canade will be a Liverpool player. Probably in the first couple of weeks of the window, to be honest. Give Salah a new contract. Again, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one, my man. There should be no doubts that he gets a new contract. I mean, it should be a priority for the club. We know that they're going to give Fabinho and Van Dijk new offers, and we all love that. That's fantastic. But you got to add Mo to that list, surely. I think Ozan Kabak has been binned off. Yeah, there are varying reports around Ozan Kabak, and as always, I'm trying to get any bits of information I can. But his cause certainly hasn't been helped by the fact that he's now ruled out for... It sounds weird to say the remainder of the season, but, you know, it is the remainder of the season. So we won't see him play again for Liverpool before that loan deal runs out. Now, Liverpool do have an option, as we know, to buy him from Schalke for 18 million. Whether they take up that option, whether they look to renegotiate that option, or whether they just decide against, we'll find out soon enough. There's been some stuff coming out suggesting we're not going to take up on the option. I honestly don't know. The club are playing their cards very close to the chest on this one. So, yeah, I don't want to tell you lies, as always. I genuinely haven't got a clue what way that one might go. I would probably take a punt on him, personally. If Michael Edwards could, you know, pull a bit of skullduggery and maybe try and get him for a few quid less, that would be a bit of a Brucey bonus, but I would sign him up. I would, to be honest with you. He's still only 21 years of age. He's not proven, but he has potential, and I think he'd be a good addition. I do, at that price. I mean, I don't think you're going to get many better centre-backs in and around that price if you're looking to beef up the amount of centre-backs you have at the club with the arrival of Canade, with Gomez and Van Dijk coming back as well. Joel Matip, I mean, great player. None of us are going to disagree, but... Well, at least I hope none of us disagree, but very injury prone, to say the least. You're a legend, mate. I'm not, Dan. I'm just a normal dude, like I've always said. Got a really nice message today from somebody who I never would have expected to get a nice message from. Because I've never had any interactions with this person before. Now, I can't say who it is, but it was somebody who I admire and somebody whose work that I have been a fan of myself. So it was very nice to get that message from them, and... You know, these things are all private, so I'd never let you guys know who it was or anything, but it meant a lot. As did all the emails and messages that I've received from you guys over the last 24, 48 hours. I have read them. I may not have responded to them all yet, and I'm trying to get through them as best as I can. So thank you for reaching out. Why is nobody wanting to sign Pedro Neto? We don't know if anybody is or isn't, mate. I mean, it's gone quiet, I'll give you that one. But, you know, there's certainly been rumoured interest in him. Sub Craig, do you think Mane and Salah may leave? I can't see a situation where both leave, buddy, and I hope to see a situation where neither leave, but I just don't see a way after the fuck-ups that the owners have had recently to justify a summer selling Mohamed Salah. It just seems bonkers to even think about it. Yes, he could bring you in more money than the others, but will anybody you bring in guarantee you 20 Premier League goals a season, which is pretty much what you're getting from Salah? And as somebody pointed out in the chat earlier on, he's going into his prime right now as well. No, it wasn't Mark Goldbridge, mate. I messaged Mark. We message on a daily basis, so it wouldn't have been a surprise to get a message from him. Goldbridge and I message all the time. So yeah, it wasn't Mark. Although we did get a message from Mark last night, but that was about something else. Swansea are winning, nice one. Swansea won, Barnsley 0. And again, for anyone that didn't see the other first leg of the playoff earlier on, Bournemouth beat who was it there? Brentford by a goal to 0, excuse me. Paddy, thank you for the super sticker or super chat. I'm not sure which one it is, buddy. Thank you very much. Right, let's get on to Trent for a minute. Sorry, I need to clear my throat. Excuse me. Let's get on to Trent for a minute, and I will circle back to transfers, so don't go anywhere. We've still got loads to get through. This could be a bit of a longer stream than normal, so strap yourselves in. Trent, the news stories that start to come out today. Another one was attributed to David Ornstein, that suggests that Gareth Southgate is braced to leave Trent Alexander-Arnold out of his Euro squad. Now, I'm an Irishman with no vested interest in England, of course, but I don't get it. I don't get it, folks. Now, look, I could be selfish about this and go, well, that's a summer of rest for Trent. Doesn't have to go away with England. But I want what's best for the lad. I want what Trent wants. If Trent wants to go and play for his country in the Euros, then I want that for Trent. And I can't get my head around the fact he won't go. Look, England have great right backs. They've got good options, and the way Southgate plays, yes, maybe Reece James is better suited to that system. But you can't tell me that he's not better than Kieran Trippier. You can't tell me that he's not above the likes of Kyle Walker, who, yes, again, in a back three does suit Gareth Southgate's system a little bit more. But none of them have the air of surprise or the calibre of passing or technique that Trent Alexander-Arnold has. Set pieces, crosses from different areas, 70-yard diagonal passes. I mean, I want what's best for Trent, and I know you guys do as well. And it would be such a shame that after Gareth Southgate laid down the gauntlet to Trent and said, prove yourself. Lad goes and gets Player of the Month last month. Lad has put in some huge performances. And look, we will all agree, Trent didn't have his best start to the season for whatever reason, and it's been a disjointed season for the whole team. But, man, I am absolutely flabbergasted if he does not get into that Euro squad, particularly after it was beefed up and you're allowed to have a few extra players, and it genuinely blows my mind. And look, I'm absolutely open to the fact that Aaron Wan-Bissaka's quality, Reece James's quality, Walker's had an amazing season with Manchester City, and can play in a back three and has done at times. But still, Trippier, he's better than Trippier. Come on, he's definitely better than Kieran Trippier. It baffles me, it does, and to see a lot of neutrals actually admit this as well is nice to see, because we all have our club allegiances and we all want our own players to do well and push on. But I mean, come on, Southgate, that is just, it's ridiculous. I can't think of any other word for it other than ridiculous. Red Devils, how are you, mate? Nice to see you in. The last few games, Trent has been class. He has. He's really stepped it up. As I said, the gauntlet was laid down to him by Gareth Southgate. Go prove yourself, Trent. I can't see what else he could have done. To me, he's proved himself. The manager, Kloppo, will say the same, of course, and a lot of neutrals will again agree. He's upped his level again. And he broke the assists record along with Robbo. I don't know what else the lad can do. I mean, over the past few seasons, they've been immense. And yeah, I get that it mightn't be the system that gets the best out of Trent the way England play, but, you know, you could throw him in midfield if you need to open up a game and start moving the ball around, and he'd do that for you. I mean, the lad is just, he's a different type of right back. You got tickets to the Palace game. Delighted for you, buddy. Absolutely delighted for you, WFM. Well played, mate. I'm very, very jealous. I'm going to get my first vaccination tomorrow, which I'm pretty excited about. The downside is it's at 10 in the morning, so no sleep for me tonight. But, you know, I'm happy to get the first vaccination done, and should be fully vaccinated then by the middle of June, which is great. And hopefully be able to get back to some form of normal life. Right, what else have we got? Personally, Craig, I don't think Henderson should go either, said Norman. Again, I mean, I could probably understand Henderson more than I could understand Trent. Now, Henderson is a leader in and around any dressing room. Southgate will say that openly as well. He is somebody, he's a senior pro. But he has been out for a while, so I can understand that as well. But certainly I can understand that way more than Trent. I mean, I'm baffled. I just am baffled. And I know I'm a Liverpool fan and I know I might be biased, but nobody's telling me that Kieran Trippier is a better right back than Trent. And I'm sorry, I'm not having it. What have we got? England creativity comes from midfield, so Southgate doesn't need. Still a stupid decision. Does it though? I mean, where's the creativity? Honestly, I know they've got some good young players, but I would class them more as forwards. Southgate usually plays with two holding midfielders, which, I don't know, look, we'll wait and see what happens. All I can give you is my 2 cents on it, and my 2 cents is that Trent should be in the squad, and if he isn't, I'm sorry, I'm very disappointed for the lad. What would I be like if Salah left? It's difficult to say, Finlay, because everything needs context, mate. So if Salah left and we got Kylian Mbappe, I'd be a lot different than if Salah left and we got Pedro Neto, if you get where I'm coming from. So yeah, I'll be heartbroken, like Josh has just said there with the super chat. Josh would be heartbroken if he left. To me, it would be the height of stupidity. Selling a player on that's coming into his prime, that is a goal scoring machine, as our manager has said, and somebody who has shown the emotion that he has and what it means to him over the last few games. Thundro says, hello everybody, congratulations, the Alisson goal, happy for you coming from a United fan. Class act, mate, thank you, really appreciate that. Why no content on Mundo Sporto? There'll be content on there tomorrow, Max. I mean, we've done quite a few games, to be fair, on Mundo Sporto this season since we started it in December, but there hasn't really been any games with anything on them worth doing over the past while. So I'll be doing the game tomorrow, the Chelsea Leicester game. I'll be doing the Europa League final. I'll be doing the Champions League final, and then we'll be mixing our content between Anfield Agenda and Mundo Sporto for the Euro. So that's all I can say to you, buddy. If you don't think there's enough content, I'm doing as much as we can. That's all I can say, mate. You know, it's a lot of the time it's just been me and well, I say just been me, I mean sitting in front of the camera, because Jack's been doing his final exams for his college course, so you know, it's just been a time thing really. What have we got? Craig won't leave, won't I? Wait and see. You call it a 6-month moan, mate. I call it a torrent of abuse that have forced us to get security cameras into our house. Has my daughter worried about walking around the town on her own, and my wife worried about me. So you might call it a 6-month moan, mate. I'd call it a lot more, trust me. When you're at a point where you're nearly getting the police involved, I'd call it a bit more than a 6-month strop. And yeah, I am a stroppy person, I'll give you that one. I've no argument with you on that. Alisson up front against Burnley, he's class, isn't he? I mean, what a header, by the way. What a header. I mean, it's not just a lucky goal. It was behind him and he generated all the power. It was beautiful. And there's some great still images of it as well, and a great video put up by the club that show you the goal from, when they say every angle, they really mean every angle. Even from behind Klopp, behind the goal, left, right, it's amazing. What a moment. Savour it, folks, because it's the first time in the club's history our goalkeeper has scored a goal while playing as a keeper. So it doesn't happen very often, and it's one of those moments that you're going to remember. You're going to remember where you were when Alisson happened, and I'm just, again, really proud that I was able to be here with you guys when it happened, because it just made it more special than if I was sitting at home here on my own watching it. It was an amazing moment, like the Barcelona moment, like the Jordan Pickford moment when Origi scored, like Gini Wijnaldum's goal. Just so many amazing moments that I've been really, really fortunate to spend with you guys and enjoying. Any more on Bissouma? No, nothing, mate. I really watched him closely the other day, and I still like what I see. He's a quality player, Bissouma, and United have been linked with him, Liverpool have been linked with him, and I'm sure that there'll be a lot of other clubs that are looking at him as well, because he really is a good footballer. He's a slick, tidy footballer, knows very good about the area, the space around him, and somebody who I could very easily see being a real smooth transition from Gini Wijnaldum. Would I play Canade over Gomez? Hand on heart, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see in a few pre-season games to see, how he slips in beside Van Dijk or vice versa. But I'd tell you, it'd be a good option, wouldn't it? I mean, you have Canade, Gomez, Van Dijk. That's pretty nice. That's a pretty nice trio to be able to choose from, as well as having, of course, let's just say Joe Matip, or whoever, if a manager keeps Phillips as an option. Sorry you and your family are going through this. You're the best. Thank you, Cedric. Look, it's been tough. People think that I just deal with a few comments on here when I'm doing a live stream. It's not that. Yeah, I have a strop at some of them, but there's a lot more behind the scenes going on that's a lot more threatening. With my address being put out there, being sent pictures of my gaff at times, former military personnel threatening me. It's serious, and it's worrying, and I've got young kids, and it's unnerving at times. Look, I'm able to hold my own, don't get me wrong. I'm no shrinking violet, but at the end of the day, I do this for fun. This isn't my job. I don't get paid for doing this. I've told you guys that from day one. So yeah, look, I understand what the person said earlier on about me having a 6-month drop, but I'm only human, and I don't know what else to say about it, really. Do I believe in top 4? Oh, definitely believe now, mate. I definitely believe now. I mean, I've been a bit of a negative Nelly over the past few weeks around top 4. I'll be the first one to admit that. Hand on heart, I'll be honest, I didn't expect us to go to Old Trafford and win. I really didn't. I hoped it, like everybody else, but with the form we'd been in, with how United arrested their players and how pumped up they were for the game, and with them having the ability to basically kill off our top four chances if they beat us or even got a draw. I thought it was a big ask. Jurgen Klopp hadn't won at Old Trafford since being Liverpool manager, but as they've always done when their backs have been against the wall, these boys dug deep and turned the doubters into believers, for want of a more cheesy phrase. And that really gave me belief. I mean, the manner at which they done it as well, to go 1-0 down and to not let their heads drop, to have the penalty decision overturned, that seemed to just gee the lads up even more to want to win the game. And our forwards were playing with swagger and belief, and it was like watching prime Liverpool. Like, it was great. And then we had the hand and heart moment, or the heart and mouth moment as well, about, I think it was Phillips or Williams cleared off the line when it looked like United were going to equalise at 3-3. It was brilliant. And then you follow that up with the madness of last night at West Brom. Sam Allardyce losing his nut gravy coming out of his ears. It was he was right though about one thing about the first goal. Now, like I'll say, if this was Liverpool, you're right. It shouldn't have been a free kick. Fabinho, it should have been an uncontested drop ball, I believe. But either way, I don't know where Mike Dean got a free kick out of. So I do have sympathy with West Brom fans for that, because I think they're right. But there were still plenty of chances for them to clear it after that, and they didn't. Now, with regard to the offside goal, I'm sorry, but it's offside. It is clearly offside. It is clearly in the rules. And I've been speaking to a referee who said that one of the first things that they are told when they start refereeing is that if the goalkeeper's eye line is impeded and the player's off, he's off. It's as simple as that. I think all of our teams, all of our clubs have seen a goal ruled out at some point for this. So I don't think it was a conspiracy theory that some people seems to think it was to get Liverpool into the Champions League. I don't buy into the Liverpool crap, because the statistics show we've been pretty hindered by VAR decisions, if anything. So I have sympathy with West Brom on the first one, I do, but none whatsoever on the offside goal, because it was offside. But yeah, seems that Allardyce loses shit just made it all the better, because I hate that lad. He is the antithesis of everything I want in football. I hate the lad. He is... Just get rid of him. Just get him out. Bye-bye. Nothing against West Brom as a club, but God, Sam Allardyce is an arsehole. Craig, do you think Mane seems to have lost his upper body strength lately? Could do. It has been one of his best attributes, mate, as well as his pace and his creativity, shall we say, because he gets himself out in tight areas. But none of us know what way COVID affected him. None of us know what way no break really for these players have affected them over the past 2 years, really. A lot of these guys have been playing, and again, this goes across all clubs, a lot of these guys have been playing non-stop. So yeah, it's tough, but I think this has been a season where we probably can't read too much into a lot of things. It's been nuts from right across the board, really. So the sooner it's over, hopefully we secure Champions League football, and then we look to the transfer window and see where we are. I support West Bromwich Albion, and I feel like Liverpool deserved to win yesterday. Very kind of you, mate. Thank you. Appreciate you putting such a nice comment in. Score prediction for Burnley Liverpool. Again, the video's coming out tomorrow. I did my predicted score, my predicted starting 11. Video should be coming out about 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Predictions for coming Liverpool transfers. Well, look, yeah, we'll circle back around to transfers. Why not? We'll finish up on that then. Canade seems to be a done deal. Other than that, any name I would be mentioning would be a guess. So, Bissouma, there's been links. Neto, links. Rafinha, links. Sancho, links. But they are just that, links. So until we start seeing stories of offers being put in, I think we should concentrate on making sure that Mohamed Salah's contract is renewed. That should be number one priority, as well as a contract for Fabinho and a contract for Virgil van Dijk. And then it might be a case of what offers are going to come in for fringe players at the club. Players like Divock Origi, who, as I said earlier on in the stream, had been left out of the Belgium squad for the Euros. Is he going to want to finally think to himself, right, I need to move on, I need to get back into the Belgium squad, I need to get back playing regularly? Shaqiri, somebody who I've had a bit of a love-hate relationship with at Liverpool. Seen some really good stuff, seen some really bad stuff, lots of muscle injuries. Is he going to move on? There's been links with him to France and Spain. I think Sevilla in Spain, and I think a couple of the Milan clubs, if my memory's right, or Lazio maybe. So a lot will depend on who we can get off the wage books, how much money we can bring in. And I know that's not what we want to hear, by the way. I'm the same as you. I want to hear the manager has X amount to spend and whatever he brings in. But at this moment in time, it's just a guessing game. And I think I'd like to think that we've got two different plans. I'd like to think that we have a plan for Champions League football and a plan for no Champions League football. And I'd like to think that Mbappe or Sancho are part of the Champions League football plan. But, the truth is none of us know. And it's going to be a very, very interesting transfer window for a whole host of reasons. Because of the players who are available, because of the lack of funds available by the usual big players. Outside of the Premier League, I mean. Because you're looking at Barca, no money. Real Madrid, no money. PSG, money, but potentially going to lose a future Ballon d'Or winner. And Neymar's renewed his contract there, so we can continue on taking penalties, rolling around and taking his sister's birthday off for the next 5 years in Paris. Love the content, Craig. Keep it up. Sorry to hear about what you're going through and I've gone through. Keep it up, bro. Cheers, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Never get Mbappe. Common sense would dictate, you're right. Common sense would dictate that. Now, would Mbappe come to Liverpool? I feel he would, yeah. I genuinely think he would. If we gave him a package that suited him, I think he would come. But I don't think we're going to pay the wages. And I think that's a shame, really, because I've told you before, it's no secret that John W. Henry and FSG wanted to get Kylian Mbappe before he signed for Paris Saint-Germain from Monaco. They flew him around on a private jet, had a little conversation with him, and he decided to pursue his career in France with Paris Saint-Germain. So there's a long-held interest there. So it's easy to shit and giggle and say, nah, he's not coming to Liverpool. You're probably right. But when a generational talent like that becomes available in an uncertain financial landscape, with 1 year left on his contract, in the age bracket that he is, I'd roll the dice. I'd take a gamble, particularly after, bear in mind, our owners have received a cash injection because they sold off 10% of their FSG holdings, which include Liverpool, the Red Sox, and all Fenway Racing and everything else that they have. So there is some cash at hand. Now, are they going to use their cash for Liverpool, the Red Sox, to buy another sports club, to do other things? I don't know what FSG's master plan is. We all know they're expected to go out and buy some other clubs. I think I'd seen Jerry Cardinal make a small investment in Malaga recently, if my memory's right. A very small investment, by the way, but will we see a situation where Liverpool go the Manchester City, the Red Bull route, where they've got some sister feeder clubs, or we can bring some maybe South American based players in, have them playing in Europe for a season or two, get them a visa, get them over to England? Who knows? And that's what makes it all the more interesting and all the more worrying as well. Klopp said Champions League or we ain't splashing. I'm not saying you're wrong, mate. All I'm saying is I've not seen that. Again, I'm not trying to say you're wrong, Neil. Just saying that I haven't seen it. I think Pereira from West Brom would be class to play with Thiago. Yeah, look, there's a few players in the Premier League who are a little bit unheralded who could be worth a punt. Pereira being one of them from West Brom. Ward-Prowse is another one at Southampton that I genuinely think would fit in at Liverpool as well. And there's not very often that I agree with a lot of what what's his name from the BBC? I can't think of the guy's name. A BBC journalist today said that Liverpool should look at Ward-Prowse, and it's not very often I'd agree with this lad, but I kind of can see it, to be fair. He's a lot of the attributes you'd want in a Liverpool player. Gavin said Jude Bellingham is class. He is, mate, but Dortmund have let it be known that whatever happens around Sancho or Haaland, Bellingham's off the table. Nobody's getting Bellingham from Dortmund this summer. And again, I think it's the right move for him and Dortmund, because it looks like Dortmund have secured Champions League football for next season. At least they've moved themselves back up into the automatic places. They were trailing Eintracht Frankfurt for a good part of the latter end of the season. Frankfurt have had a couple of iffy results and Dortmund have capitalised. So, right now they look like they're going to have Champions League football, and Bellingham will be at a good club playing in front of a packed yellow wall. And I think it's the right place for him. And again, I said if I was representing Haaland, I'd say the same thing to him. Stay put for one more season. Enjoy your time playing in front of a full stadium again. Continue to get more, hone your craft a bit more. And we know the move is there next summer because he has a €75 million release clause, so he can go wherever he wants, basically. Do I think Neymar is overrated? It's not that I think he's overrated. What annoys me about Neymar is how good he could be if he dropped the theatrics, knuckled down, put in the work rate that Ronaldo and Messi have put in. He has every attribute needed to be an absolute superstar, but he just doesn't seem to have, I won't say the want, because you don't get to where you are without having the want, but he just doesn't seem to be able to stay that focused, if you get where I'm coming from. And we all know about his sister's birthday parties and stuff like that as well, but he just frustrates me because I see a player that could be one of the best to ever play the game that is frittering away his career. I don't, it annoys me. That's really what gets to me about Neymar. Yeah, you're very funny, John Murphy, aren't you? Very funny, mate. I guarantee you, and I promise you this, John. I'll give you my address, John. Come to my house and speak about my mother like that. Come to my house, mate. I'll fucking give you my address openly. Come to my house. Come out from behind your keyboard and see what fucking happens, princess. Because I promise you, you're sitting there making laughy face emojis at my mother's death. Yeah, she took her own life, mate, and you think you're fucking funny. Come to my house and say that, princess, and we'll see how fucking quick you stay standing. That's the level of scumbag I'm dealing with. Neymar, the Ronnie O'Sullivan of football. That's kind of a good comparison, actually, Richard. Yes, that's a good analogy. But at least what I respect about Ronnie O'Sullivan even more than the fact that he's an amazing talent is the fact that he just comes out and says he doesn't give a shit at times. I respect that. I respect that part of Ronnie O'Sullivan. What else we got? Did COVID affect Mane? It could have, yeah. I mean, we've seen sometimes this season that players have had long COVID. Didn't Alan Saint-Maximin have long COVID? And he's another player, by the way, I wouldn't mind Liverpool taking a little punt on. So yeah, it affects different people in different ways. Some people take longer to get back to full fitness. And we don't know as well what these players go through on a personal level. We don't know what affects, the coronavirus and the lockdowns and not being able to see certain family members and not being able to be around friends at times. We don't know what that's done to the mentality of these players. And while the club will, of course, and all clubs will, try by their best to make sure that these guys have every support that they need, not being able to hug your mum or your friends or your family or your loved ones, apart from the ones you live with, obviously, it's tough. And it's been tough for all of us. So just because they're multi-millionaire footballers doesn't mean that they don't have the same real world problems, stresses and feelings that the rest of us have. So yeah, I mean, this season, if we get out of it with Champions League football, I mean, I think we'll be back next season all the stronger. The BBC guy is David Ornstein. No, it's not. David Ornstein was the person who broke the story, sorry, about Trent to the Euros. Yeah, no argument on that one, but the guy I'm thinking of is what's his name? He used to be a presenter or a co-presenter on Match of the Day at times. Former footballer. I can't think of his Garth Crooks. Yes, him. Garth Crooks. He was the one who said it. Sorry, folks. Just bear with me a second. Sorry, I'm just trying not to react to something. So we move. Thiago's supposed to be our creative player. I don't know what you mean by supposed to be there, Essie, because I'll agree with you that we haven't seen the best of Thiago, maybe until recently, but he has been really good in the last few games in particular, and I think we've really started to see what Thiago will bring to this team, particularly next season when we've got everybody back and Hendo's in there, Fabinho's in there. I think we'll see the best of Thiago, and I think he's been magnificent in the last two games in particular. Thiago's been super of late. He's been brilliant, Glenn. And look, I've been somebody who who sorry. I've been somebody who hasn't been blown away by Thiago at times this season, but football at times is often about getting into a rhythm, and he seems to be in that rhythm now where he feels comfortable in the system, he feels comfortable with those around him, he's starting to pick up the runs of players a bit better now, and I mean, I'm still over the moon we have him at the club, I'll be honest with you. To get Thiago for 25 million quid, madness, it's great. It's one of the very few established players we really ever brought into the club. I mean, somebody who was at the elite level when we signed him, and it was I suppose it was down to his contract situation at Bayern really, and the fact that he fancied a different challenge, but I'm extremely happy he's at the club. You're my favourite Liverpool fan, keep it up. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Again, to those of you telling me not to waste my time on them, it's easy for you to say that, but if you see hundreds of things a day, maybe you're better than me. Maybe you wouldn't bite. I don't know all of you guys. You know, we're all wired differently, but some stuff gets to me, and I'm not going to apologise for it. And I don't like being dragged down to other people's level either, because, you know, I'm snarky. I bite back at times. I say stuff I'm not proud of, but when I leave the stream, I'm angry at myself for it. I beat myself up over it. I hate myself for it. And it's not the side of me that I want to project. But I'm an emotional person. And when we're in the height of a watch-along and my emotions are up here, which I am, you can see that when we do any watch-alongs. I'm normal now. I can sit here now, have a little conversation and be calm. But during a game, when emotions are up here, you know, I snap at times. And I shouldn't. I admit that. But you can't have that side of me and not have this side of me, because they're connected. So, you know, if you see one, then you're going to see the other. And trust me, I don't like talking about people. I don't like slagging people off. I don't like having rows with people in chat. I want to be on here and have fun. But unfortunately, that hasn't been the case. Right, look, I'm going to go off into the night, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you tomorrow. The team prediction video will be out tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, I think, with score predictions as well. Thank you to everybody. As you can see, we've just tipped on 106,000 subscribers, so, you know, blown away by that support. Thank you. If you do enjoy the streams, please do hit the subscribe button, drop a like on the video. I hope to see you tomorrow on Mundo Sporto. There's a link in the description to come over and join us on Mundo Sporto. There's also a link for our second channel, our Clips channel, which Connor called Anfield Agenda Extra. So if you want to click on that, there's a link in the top of the chat right now as well. And don't forget to check out all our other socials. You can find us on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, of course on YouTube. Just search Anfield Agenda and you'll find us. And yeah, thank you very much for your time as always, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you're all safe and well. And I will chat to you guys on Mundo Sporto tomorrow from 15 minutes before the kickoff of the Chelsea game against Leicester. Massive game in our season. And I'll see you all there. Take care. Lots of love.